Okay. All right. Evening, guys. This is going to be a bit of a pre-recording just because I'm going to be out of town for a while, but I did want to at least get a practice in. So, my name is Nana. It's been 20 years since I've done digital art, and here I am trying to do some practice. So, I figured I want to practice using some of these tools up here today. And I learned if I do the snap settings, I can do like that, and I can move that around. So that's cool. So I do want to those, and then I actually want to move that a little bit because I want to try doing like something behind another. I'll do one more just on its own so I can have something else to actually we're going to do a smaller one since it's in the background. Okay, and I figured we could do some blueberries. How about that? And we're going to actually have that one kind of off to the side. And then this one will be kind of over here. Okay, so that is our sketch layer. And we're going to do another layer on top. And so since I know blueberries are not exactly like perfectly round, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can see. That'll be a great way to really kind of like, whoops, I don't like that line. That line didn't work at all. So we're going to, I'm going to turn the opacity down on this a little bit just so I have some. So, yeah, kind of like that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Scratch it. Let's be smart about this. Let's actually use blue. Yeah, see that kind of looks a little better. And these don't have to be perfect just because blueberries aren't necessarily perfect. Ooh, that would took a wrong turn. They're not necessarily perfect. Because they are, organic things. How bad is that one? That was kind of dumpy. No! Rinse. So beep. There we go. That turned out even worse. Alright, focus. We can't go that way. Maybe we can go the other way. Oh, it didn't work out too well, but you know what? That's okay. That looks like not so good. That one is having a hard time. We are trying very, very hard. We can do it. We can do it. Oh. How does it look? Survey says. You know what? I'll take it. That's okay. We'll be fine. This is practice. Okay. Now let's do us all a favor. I'm gonna zoom that one in just a little. Whoops. That is not what I wanted. I think I need to swap these colors out another day. Okay, just to kind of button up the holes here. Just kind of clean up the lines just a itty bitty bit. And then I do want my eraser. Oh. Well then. Fine. Fine. I wasn't paying attention. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. You need to pay attention. Like that one just needs a button up. Right up here. Nothing horribly fancy. Did we get all the, okay, good. Now we'll do it. Let's go up here. This is color. We're still trying to figure it out. Okay, I do want a kind of a different shade of blue. It's a little too blue. Let's go over here. Actually, yeah, because we're gonna add some of these colors over here, especially the warmer purples for the shading. So I do want more of a vibrant blue as a base. And then we're going to fill and fill, 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 and fill. Okay, so at least the base is done. Now, I also want to select, because I want here, I was practicing the other day, and yeah, because I do one on top. And I was practicing with the Airbrush tools. Just because they are fun, and you can really get a good, see, like you can get a good gradient there. And then, you know, you can kind of layer it some to really get that shadow without necessarily having to use the blur tool all the time. This is like a natural blur for me. Now, when I want to swing that the other way, use a lighter one up here to really get that over here. And the great thing about it is they're blueberries. They don't have to be perfect. And we'll circle back to that later, but like, yeah, that's how you do that kind of shading. And then we go over here. I'm gonna hit this deselect. because it's not perfect, obviously. You can still see the edges and things, but it really does work pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to this. I'm going to select my blue, and then I'm going to go back up to my pen. I kind of want to zoom in just a bit so I can get to these fine edges. I do kind of want a larger pen just so I can see. La, la, la. Yep. Kind of want to just kind of button that up. Boop. Okay, yeah. We'll get this one kind of cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, that was how I was using the airbrushing tool on that one. Meanwhile, on this one, I still want to use the airbrush because I really do like the way that it does. But I'm going to go for the light version because then you can go in. I'm going to start with that one. And you can really, you get more of a fine detail. Remember, these are blueberries, so they're not like, and I'll clean that up here in a second, but like, and then you just swap over to, in fact, what I should do is I should go ahead and mark that other one as the dark, so then I can just swap like that. Actually, I'm going to backtrack that statement real quick, and I'm going to narrow it down. Swap around, add some shadow there. These are really definition shadows over here. And we can, and this is set to pressure, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Because the other thing you can do is you can take the blur tool and actually work on it as you go. So yeah, and then, so yeah, that works. That works pretty okay. Okay, and then we can actually go into like the actual blur and really like blur this bitch. And of course I'm gonna take it down so I can get into the fine corners. Get up here. Blur that one around. Because the problem with the actual blur is you see how it's kind of creeping over the edge on some of these spots, like especially down here. So you have to kind of be careful with the blur. Whereas the airbrush, it's kind of like a spray paint, so it's not nearly as severe. And then what I'm probably going to do is I'm actually going to take this into more of a purpled, yeah, like a darker purple there. And I'm going to go back to the smaller airbrush so I can get into some of these crevices to add some of that natural complementary color. Take it into a little bit of a darker. Just in spots. It doesn't need to be like absolutely perfect, but in those really dark spots where you really do need that extra definition, it's a great way to add some of that extra definition, is to bring in the complementary color. And then we'll just pull that blur tool back in, kind of warp it in there. Okay, and then up here in the highlight, you can then take that color. You could probably even take it over to the yellow, just a hint. Just a hint. It doesn't need to be like overly done. And then just in some spots, maybe. Just in some spots. Oh, I'm in the blur. I'm in the blur. I'm in the blur. Yeah, there you go. Just like a super hint of it, just in like those spots where there would be. Just in some spots, and then you can kind of like add just a little bit in some. This is how I draw. I use a lot of EBT type strokes, and then I'll go in there and either blur or kind of smudge them around, just to kind of. I actually do the same thing when I'm like actual painting, because I'm a finger painter. I do use brushes. I promise I use brushes, but I will actually go in there and like I will go in there with my actual fingers and like finger paint if I'm not getting the composition that I want. Okay, I want to narrow that down some. I don't like it that way. But yeah, play with the smudge, play with the blur, and don't be too like freaking out. Oops. Because remember, I have this pretty well zoomed in. So when I zoom back out, It looks a lot better. Like, compare this one to this one. This looks more like a strawberry than this one. So, you know, even if I were to take the line art off, it still looks more like a blueberry than not. Okay, so we're gonna go, I kind of want to go up here and work on this one just because. And we're gonna go up here. We're gonna move over here and fill this guy in. Oh, I'm still in the blur. I'm in the blur. I'm in the blur. Oops. I went over like too much. I see a blueberry and I want to paint it blue. You know another good blueberry song? It's I think it's a Sesame Street song. Blueberry pie, lots of mine. I'm so very blue. Okay, so that one is pretty saturated. We're going to go in here. And I need grab a light color, swap it, and then we're going to do. Actually, I kind of want to keep that color. And then what I want to do, I want to take that color and raise it up. Still turn it more of a blue, but and then since I'm in the pen, because why not? That's whoop. What did I do? What did I do? Okay. Okay. I know it's a bit dark, but you know, bear with me. Because I also need to practice with like the actual pins and like learning this stuff with pins and not just relying on the airbrush. I'll do it more openly and then I love the airbrush. Here. And we're going to swap it over. That's a cool blue. I like that one. That one's cool. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the purpley blue. It's perfect. Perfect. It is like so freakishly. But look how perfect that color. And you're getting the warm tones. I'm excited. I'm excited. Now I need a lighter edition of. I really do need a lighter tone. I'm gonna take it in a little more into the blue. Actually, we're gonna take it over here. I think I can sing a tune and not be copyrighted, but I don't want to get in too much trouble because I don't do the thing. I don't do blur. just to kind of give it that extra bow. So that's another reason I'm doing like multiples of these. So like there's 3 blueberries on here, so that way I can kind of get multiple different kinds of practice. Because I really do. I want to learn as many of these tools as I can so I can kind of add to my repertoire. And yeah, I do think I blurred that out just a little too much. So let's go back to the pen. Add some more distinction in just a couple of places that got a little too much blur. But I really do. I really like that color. That is this color here, this like blue purple color. Oh, chef's kiss. This is so freaking perfect. Should have done the whole freaking blueberry that way. Because it's so subtle. And even if you turn down like the pressure, just kind of just play with it a little. Oh, yes. Because you can make the blueberry itself more of the purple. And then you can go in here. Probably even with like this kind of like this red warmer tone. Go in there with some of this. And then kind of go in. Oh, don't do that. Yeah, kind of like that. And then just kind of work at it. Gotta work it. Go vote. Work it, work it. Alright, so there's another blueberry in kind of like a different style. So when we back out, we have like this version, and then we have this version, and then we have this version. And are they at all perfect? No, no, not really. But now you can kind of see like the three different versions. Like this one has some really good, like taking this opacity down and then widening the brush and just using some micro shading in some places. That one turned out really good. Meanwhile, this one is primarily done with the airbrushing, and then this is the broad stroke airbrush with just to kind of really get that sphere look. I don't really want to pursue this one too much, so we're just going to kind of keep that one simple. I am going to put that one there so I could delete the sketch layer, and then we're just going to I kind of want to do like a different, maybe kind of like there. But yeah, how about we do a pink, and then we will yeah, and then we're gonna do it that way. Turn these layers back on. It's kind of cool to see it without without that one. And then I do want to add one more layer. This is just going to be like a shadow. Swap over to this one. We're just going to kind of play with it. Doesn't have to be perfect because they're just rolls. know, like you do. Round and round the merry-go-round, the monkey chased the weasel. That didn't do right. So if you want to use this at a lower opacity, you gotta keep holding onto it and do the whole thing at the same time, and then you can kind of, because there are even different layers of shadow, really. Like the shadow can sometimes actually be like significantly darker closer to the object, just depending on what's going on. I made this a little too wide, which is fine. I don't really care because the light source is over here, so they should be kind of down here. But this is just, like I said, this is just practice. So I'm going to call that for day 4. Alrighty. So we're going to save. Save as. It's going to be day 4. I know it looks like I'm missing one. That's okay because I'll actually do a live for day 3. So this is Blueberries, but I'm going to be out of town tomorrow, so I wanted to at least do something. So here we go. Alright guys, well there are my blueberries in 3 different kind of styles. Tell me which one you like the best, and in the meantime I will see y'all tomorrow. Alright, bye.